you wondering how to turn an inherited house into a profitable investment? Look no further. In this video, we'll show you the proven strategies to maximize your profit and sell your inherited house for top dollar. Inheriting a house can be a mixed blessing. While it's a valuable asset, it can also be a financial burden if you're not prepared to handle it. Whether you're inheriting a house from a loved one or you're an executor responsible for the property, maximizing your profit is crucial. From identifying potential buyers to preparing the house for sale, we'll guide you through the process of selling an inherited house for the highest possible profit. So let's get started. Hi, my name is Andy Moss with Two Top Estate Solutions. Every day I'm getting calls and emails from people just like you going through the probate process or the process of selling an inherited property. Our goal is to take some of the stress off of what is an already difficult situation. If you'd like to know more about going through the probate process, such as selling personal property, dealing with inherited property, or possibly having to help find the right care for loved ones left behind, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications so you can stay informed and up to date on all that's available to you. The first thing we'll need to do is assess the property. Assessing an inherited property can be overwhelming, especially if you're not familiar with real estate. First, let's start with an overview of the property. Take a walkthrough of the house and make a note of its current condition, the overall size, and any kind of unique features that it might have. Are there any repairs that need to be done? Is the property outdated or in need of any kind of repairs and renovations? These factors will affect the value of the property and can impact your profit when selling it. Next, it's time to determine the overall value of the property. You can do this by getting a professional appraisal, which will provide an accurate estimate of your property's worth at this current time. Alternatively, you can research comparable properties in the area to get an idea of the current market value. Analyzing the market is crucial when assessing the property. By taking the time to assess the property and determine its value, you'll be better equipped to make decisions about how to sell it for the highest profit possible. If you need help analyzing property or a referral for an appraisal, feel free to leave a comment below or reach out to us directly. All of our information are in the comments below. Next, we'll need to sort out all of the documents. As you wander around the house, you'll probably stumble upon some heaps of documents and papers from random junk mail to serious financial records. It's crucial to sift through all of this. Obviously, toss out anything that's plain useless, such as advertisements from window companies, but deciding what to keep as important can be a bit of a puzzle. To start with, it's best to tuck away anything that looks vital into a secure spot and then sort them out in sort of like an A-B pile and grab them when needed. A smart trick is to use digital scanners, which make it effortless to create digital copies and they make them easily searchable. You can even do this with a Google Drive and just taking photos. The next step on the list is getting the property prepared. The first step in this is repairing and renovating. This includes fixing any kind of structural damage, updating any kind of outdated features, and giving the property a fresh coat of paint. Considering hiring professional contractors to handle the repairs and renovations to ensure that they're done correctly and safely and up to code if it needs to be. These updates will not only increase the value of the property, but also make it significantly more appealing to your potential buyers. Like with any place you own, it's essential to give it some TLC and make sure that everything's running smoothly. Whether it's mowing the lawn or fixing a pesky leak, you're keeping up with maintenance is really going to be key. Our top tip is to take a trip to the property and jot down a comprehensive list of all necessary repairs. Once you've got that down, you can start planning and prioritizing these tasks according to your schedule and what's going to fit best for the home. And if you're lucky, maybe you can persuade a neighbor to help out with contractor access, getting them keys in and out of the house. But keep this in mind, finding reliable contractors on short notice can be a bit of a challenge, almost near impossible. So plan ahead and keep the property in top-notch condition. Consider hiring a professional cleaning service to do a deep clean of the property, including carpets, windows, and appliances. Clean and decluttered property will make it easier for potential buyers to visualize themselves in the space. By repairing and renovating the property for sale, you'll increase its value and appeal to potential buyers, and you'll be well on your way to selling the property for the highest profit possible. If you'd like a complete checklist for getting a property prepared for sale, go ahead and leave a comment below that says checklist, and we'll send it right over to you. Selling your personal home comes with some certain sweet tax benefits. In the majority of situations, there are no capital gains to worry about. But selling a property that isn't your primary property is a whole different ballgame. So let's say you inherit a property and decide you want to rent it out or even live in it for a period of time. When you do eventually sell it, any profit you make will be subject to capital gains taxes. Luckily, there are a couple of ways to avoid paying this tax on an inherited property. The first is to declare the property as your primary residence. This allows you to claim private residence relief when you do eventually sell it. Make sure you do your due diligence ahead of time, as the IRS has rules and regulations on when you can claim this. The other option is to sell the property right away at its current value, and then there's no increase in value to be taxed on. You could sell it through a real estate agent, at auction, or through a cash buying company. Next in line is marketing the property. Marketing an inherited property can be a challenging but sometimes exciting process. This can be done through online advertising, social media, direct mail campaigns, even canvassing the neighborhood by knocking on doors and seeing if the neighbors know anybody that might be interested. Next, it's time to create a listing for the property. Consider hiring a professional photographer to take high quality photos, as these will be the first impression that buyers have on what the property looks like and is going to draw the most amount of people to the home. This, in my opinion, is half the battle of getting a home sold. You have to get people through the door. Finally, it's time to market the property through various channels. This means using a combination of online and offline marketing strategies to reach as many potential buyers as possible. You can list it yourself on Zillow or use something like Craigslist, among other listing services. Keep in mind that you'll need to have a way to actually get into the property and service prospective buyers when you're selling the home. This means being there for every showing, doing open houses, or putting a lockbox on the house. Let's explore some of the different options for selling your inherited property. First up, we have traditional real estate agents. The good news is that they're usually the best choice if you want to get top dollar for the property. Plus, they usually have a pretty solid understanding of the local area, which could be important for you and anybody else that's coming in to see it. On the flip side, with going with a traditional real estate agent, that can be a slower process, anywhere from 3 to 9 months to get the property sold, depending upon pricing, the market, and buyer's ability to actually close on the house. A house on the market needs to sell 3 times. First, you get an offer, then you have inspections, and then you have bank financing appraisals. Another option is selling your property at an auction house. The benefit here is that you can set a reserve price, which establishes a minimum amount you're willing to accept for the property. And if a sale is agreed upon, it could be completed in just 28 days. However, there are some drawbacks to consider. For one, there's no guarantee of any kind of eventual sale, as it really depends upon who's in the auction room that day. You may also need to wait a few months for the next auction date to come around. And there's always the risk that your property just doesn't sell at auction, depending upon who shows up and your reserve price. Plus, fees can be high. Sellers are often asked to cover buyers' fees as well as their own fees. The third option is a cash home buyer. There are plenty of companies that have an established reputation of being able to buy the house for cash and close sometimes in 30 days or less, depending upon your situation. Usually, you can sell to these companies without having to do any kind of repairs or renovations or cleaning up. They're sold as is. The downside is that the sale price on the house when selling it to these companies is usually going to be the lowest. The final option I'll talk about here today are companies that will actually partner with you and the heirs to do all of the work to get the house up to market standards. They'll take care of all the repairs, renovations, clean out, marketing, and getting the home sold. This option strikes a balance between having to do a ton of work to get it ready and sold for top dollar and selling it for cash to an investor. These companies can often even front some of the sale proceeds up front if you're in need of quick cash, and then they'll get reimbursed at the closing. This option is usually faster than fixing the house yourself and then listing it with an agent, but it will take a little bit longer than the cash buyer option. It really comes down to what you feel is going to be the best fit for you and your situation. Lastly comes negotiating and closing the sale of the inherited property. For some, this can be a really nerve-wracking process. However, with the right approach, you can maximize your profit and ensure a really smooth transaction. When you get to the point of getting offers on the property, you want to be able to have multiple offers and multiple options. That's not always the case, and you'll need to do some negotiating. Consider making concessions, such as paying for closing costs or making minor repairs to the property. This will help to sweeten the deal for the buyer if you need to be in that situation. Be open to compromise and flexible in your negotiations to increase the likelihood of a successful sale. This could include extending the closing date or maybe offering some sort of financing on your end, depending upon your situation. Closing the sale means finalizing all the paperwork and transferring ownership of the property to the new buyer, new owner. No matter which option or route you choose, you want to make sure that you have legal representation. You need to make sure that you have all of your documents in order and that there won't be anything that could possibly come up in the future to jeopardize the sale of the property and the new owner's claim on that ownership. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope that you found it informative and helpful in your journey to sell an inherited house, any other inherited assets, or maybe even an investment property that you currently own. If you have any questions or need any kind of referrals to anyone who maybe will help you through this process, go ahead and leave a comment below, or feel free to reach out to us directly. All of our information is in the description down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more helpful tips and advice on real estate, home ownership, and everything that comes up in between. Until then, we'll see you in the next video.